First, start your Vienna Ensemble Pro servers on the computers you want to use Vienna Ensemble Pro on. This can be directly on your master computer or on any slave computer. Right now I will start up both the Vienna Ensemble Pro 32-bit and 64-bit server versions on my master computer and on my Windows slave computer, which I am connected to via screen sharing. By running the 32-bit and 64-bit servers simultaneously, I can now access all plugins that are only available in 32-bit versions, and all 64-bit plugins will be available in my 64-bit Vienna Ensemble Pro server. The big advantage of 64-bit software, you can load as much RAM as you have physically available in your computer, whereas the RAM limit in a 32-bit environment is around 3 GB. Alright, so my Vienna Ensemble Pro servers are now up and running. The preferences of each server can be set individually. These settings can help to optimize the performance of your system, for example by optimizing the number of used audio outputs for each instance or by experimenting with the assigned threads for each instance. Remember that the number of audio and MIDI ports can influence the startup time and performance of Vienna Ensemble Pro. Now, insert Vienna Ensemble Pro as a multi-timbral plugin in your sequencer. If you're not sure how to do this, please check the chapter Routing in your Vienna Ensemble Pro manual to find out how this works with your specific sequencer. In Logic, you should make sure that multi-timbral is checked so that 16 MIDI channels will open right away in Logic. Next, insert Vienna Ensemble Pro as a plugin. If you want multiple audio returns available, make sure to choose the Vienna Ensemble Pro multi-output option. Again, this is handled differently in every sequencer, and it's documented in the routing chapter of your Vienna Ensemble Pro manual. The Vienna Ensemble Pro plugin is called Server Interface and takes care of the connection to the Vienna Ensemble Pro servers. Click Connect and you'll see all available Vienna Ensemble Pro servers. 32-bit and 64-bit servers on both the master computer, the local host, and the slave computer with the assigned IP address. Choose one of them and the connection is established. One instance of Vienna Ensemble Pro is now opening on the corresponding computer, in this case on my slave computer. Insert any plugin and assign the MIDI port and MIDI channel. For multi-timbral plugins like Contact or Omnisphere, choose Omni to receive MIDI data on multiple MIDI channels. Most multi-timbral plugins also offer multiple audio outputs, which can be routed separately in Vienna Ensemble Pro. To have these outputs separately available in the mixer, click on the plus button in the instrument channel and these additional outputs will appear as separate channels. If you insert another Vienna Ensemble Pro plugin, you can open another Vienna Ensemble Pro instance, and you can insert as many Vienna Ensemble Pro plugins and therefore create as many Vienna Ensemble Pro instances as you like. You can also process audio signals from your sequencer. Insert an audio input plugin in the audio track of your sequencer and assign this plugin to the already established Vienna Ensemble Pro connection. If you are not connected to a Vienna Ensemble Pro server yet, you also cannot send any audio signals. In Logic Pro, you'll need to insert an I/O plugin on each input plugin, event input and audio input. Additionally, you need an I/O plugin on the Vienna Ensemble Pro server interface plugin as well, to guarantee basic functionality in Logic. Bypassing the I/O plugin will force the audio track into live mode. With all other sequences, this extra step is not necessary. You can use the audio and event input plugins without additional plugins. When sending audio signals from your sequencer to Vienna Ensemble Pro, you'll pick up this signal from the available audio inputs you see in an audio input channel. It depends on the settings in your Vienna Ensemble Pro preferences, how many of these audio channels you have available. With the audio outputs of Vienna Ensemble Pro, you can route an audio signal internally, for example to certain buses, or even back to your sequencer. Again, each sequencer is different in this regard, and you'll find more information in your Vienna Ensemble Pro manual. Last but not least, connecting to Vienna Ensemble Pro usually means that you're introducing some latency due to the extra networking. This is also true for the local host on one machine. Such latency is automatically compensated by any sequencer that supports latency compensation, so the latency setting in the server interface only affects your live performance. The default setting is 2 buffers, which means that when playing any notes live, 2 buffers will be added on top of the latency of your sound card. So if your sound card is set to, for example, 256 samples, 2 times 256 samples latency will be added. All in all, 3 times 256 samples, which equals 768 samples of latency. Next to the latency buffer setting, you will see the actual latency of the server interface, which can depend on more factors, such as using latency-inducing plugins in the connected instance. So don't let that confuse you. In simple words, latency is the time the server interface needs to process your MIDI and audio input into audio output. So the rule for Vienna Ensemble Pro is, if you don't want to add any latency to the latency of your sound card when playing live, set the network latency for the instance you are recording with to none. Keep in mind that no added latency also means more workload for your CPU, so it will be wise to set the latency to a higher value once you have finished the recording. Especially when mixing or fine-tuning huge scores, you will also find the 4 buffer setting very helpful.